Hey, folks, we're live on the authoring. And wow, or actually on Lunch with Mal, I mean, not the authoring. And my stream is actually going to the Writing Wives group. Oh, wait, no, never mind. It died. I was shocked that it actually worked for once, but it was just the message was delayed. Hey, pardon me. Hey, Dharma, it's super cool to see you. Um, Especially because I feel like this actually is like perfect for you because I'm pretty sure you do direct sales. Um, so yeah, the author ring. What is the author ring? What did we make? For folks who tune in frequently, I've talked about this a couple of times, but there'll be folks who haven't tuned in before, or maybe someone shared this with you, and you're super stoked about it, or interested. But I feel like you should be stoked. So I've been doing ads for authors for like 9 years. Um, did I say do? um, Sorry, Dharma's comment on that, which you guys can see on the screen because I'm using the newfangled show comments on stage thing. But I've been doing ads for authors. I mean, doing ads for myself now for 10 years and ads for other authors now for 9 years. And, over that time, a lot has changed. But one thing has sort of remained true, and that is that going direct is harder in many regards, not all regards, but in many regards, it's harder than using the retailers can be. And one of the biggest reasons for that is every single author is doing a direct lift themselves, right? Every effort out there to bring people to your book pages requires you to make people aware of this random website out there that is your store and then send people to it. Um, and that doesn't work super well. The lift can be expensive. It's a lot of work to build it up. And then there's no collectivism, right? Like the retailers all have this big advantage that they're a large store with a lot of authors on them. We don't have that going for us as indie authors. We're all siloed. And because of that, no one can ever really grow beyond the reach that they're able to manufacture themselves, which of course can be expensive. Um, and I'm up against that a lot, working with a lot of authors who do direct sales, helping them with their ads. The margins can be pretty tight. You have to have really good post-sale stuff. You have to have good upsells. There's a lot of work you have to do to make it work well. And then in addition, on top of that, it's like I said, we're all siloed. We're all doing our own thing. We're never creating like a unified collective that people can go to, readers can go to as an alternative to the retailers. Now, a lot of people are trying to solve this different ways, right? We have people making new reader apps. We have people sort of building smaller collectives, or maybe they make like a new storefront that contains books from multiple authors. Or maybe people are like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to set up a small publisher so I can bring my expertise to multiple authors and I can help them get their books out. But all of those other solutions just introduce a new middle person, a new person who has to manage these things, who collects a cut along the way. And we still don't create a unified store. Good morning, Tim. Yes, it is snowing for us right now, quite a bit actually. It's also like really cold in here because I accidentally left the window open yesterday. I left kind of in a hurry. I'd opened a window because it was hot, and it's minus 14 Celsius, so which is like, I don't know, like 10 Fahrenheit outside, and so the office is still pretty chilly inside. But anyway, authoring, let's get into it. So I said just on the Lunch with Mal like a couple months ago, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool like if we had something like the old blog rings, but instead it was for authors. And on the surface, I was like, okay, that's a really simple idea. But as I thought more about it, I'm like, well, obviously we need multiple rings. Not everybody wants to be in the same ring. We need to break them up. Readers are going to have preferences. We need to create like a whole UI for joining rings. But then, of course, reader expectations are one of the most important things, right? They're going to expect, if they're in a clean contemporary romance ring, that as they go through the ring and click next author on the ring, they just see clean contemporary romance. They don't see other things. We don't want the Amazon category pollution issue happening here. So that had to be taken care of. And then we need to collect a little bit of money for this to help run it. We're only charging $1 a month per ring right now. And that's I think, pretty reasonable, but I had to build the Stripe integrations, coupon code systems. There was actually a lot that had to be built for all of this. Oh my goodness, Monique, I'm jealous. I could use 46 Fahrenheit. You're in Poland. You should be using Celsius, or you're just translating for Americans. So anyway, let me introduce you to Author Ring. It has 4 major components. One of them is a reader website, which I didn't even think of doing right away. But I'm like, man, if I'm going to create if I know all these authors who are doing direct sales, I'd be silly not to make a reader website where readers can go and just sort of search for authors who do direct sales. I think that would be pretty cool. And then on top of that, we need an admin site for us. There needs to be a site for the authors to use, and then there also needs to be like another site that actually handles serving the Ring code itself to different websites. It has to be like super lean and high speed and whatnot. Awesome, Eric. I did see your message, by the way, Eric. I will check out the comic. I've just been swamped a little bit. And I'm glad you got some time away from it. So let me show you guys what this all looks like. Oh, that's not, well, it's going to show the screen, and I'm going to immediately tab away from it. So this is the reader website. It's going to be readers.authorring.net. This is a demo one. It's demo-readers.authorring.net. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's something that folks can check out and play around with. Let me actually also just move my face down here so the screen's a little bit bigger. So I made a demo site because I wanted to make it so, of course, before we have the system populated, you could actually see what it looks like. So we've got different genres down here, and different genres have, they'll have rings in them. And of course, there's top level genres. On the main site, there's more than this, of course. But we've got top level genres. So in romance, we've got clean contemporary, spicy contemporary, paranormal romance, romantic thriller, and then we can see like what the levels are. Spicy contemporary romance in this example is sweet through scorching. We could even make one that's like steamy through scorching, like it's everything but sweet, basically, so readers going through it would expect that. Right now it's sweet through scorching, and if I click on that, I'll see the authors that are in there. So I've got like Scarlet Rain, and then clicking that goes to Scarlet's website, which I'll zoom in on a bit so that you guys can see everything better. Obviously, this would be like a regular e-commerce website. I just built a quick and dirty one-page, this is selling a book demo website. I had to make 15 of them, so I did them pretty quick and dirty. And it's got a little bit of information here that sort of explains to readers why they're seeing this bar up the top. I want to make this so it's a lot thinner than this normally. Really, the big thing is previous author, random next author that people are really going to see, and the rest of it is, I hope, fairly unobtrusive, but it also needs to be noticeable enough that people might start going through the ring, right? Clicking Author Ring will also take them to the main Author Ring website. I actually probably need to change that so that it takes people. Also, something stopped loading on here that I need to look at too. There should be just some text right here. It should actually take them to the actual readers.authorring website. This is the live one that's up right now. I actually hadn't clicked that since way back when I was doing demo work. Okay, here we are. Scarlet Rain. I got back to where I was. So the readers here on this website, and they're like, oh, I think, especially because most of us are catering to older readers, that the concept of a ring shouldn't be super hard for authors to catch up, for readers to catch up with. If it's a ring that actually has heat levels, the reader can choose what the max heat level they prefer is, and then as they go through the ring, they're only going to see books at that level. So it's a way for readers also, if they're like in a more generic ring and they don't want to see super spicy stuff, they can just choose sweet, and then it will then save that preference. My max is sweet, or they can just say like, yeah, give everything to me. My max is scorching. And of course, you can just kind of flip through the authors that are in here and see what books are there. And then, of course, authors like Jade Mercer here is in more than one ring. All of the authors in the demo site are in more than one ring. Of course, no one would have to be, but I think it could be beneficial. So there's Jade Mercer's also in psychological thriller. So if I change to the psychological thriller ring, now I'll actually go through different authors. And so apparently Zara Vance also writes psychological thrillers and science fiction. Because, of course, these rings are based on your whole store. So every book in your corpus sort of comprises the rings you might go into. So of course I can then, wander off into space opera and now go through space opera. And I'll zoom on this one too. I should have gone through and pre-zoomed all these websites. but you can go through that. So it's kind of a cool thing where the authoring structure allows readers to sort of organically just navigate through different genres, and they could be like, "Whoa, I didn't mean to do that." They can go back to the previous author that they were on. They can, of course, the random thing works to randomly flip through authors. Um, and my goal is to make this a very clean, simple experience for readers to navigate through. And then we just have to change this link now that we're going live to actually go to the reader website, because that's where readers we're gonna want them to land. Um, and again, the reader experience is got to zoom back in here as well. It keeps losing my zoom everywhere. They're going to have this nice site where they can actually just browse through rings. Authors can join the rings, and readers can see what's out there in the direct sales landscape. They can also search for things, so you can just search for Nora. If I could type here, and it will then find the authors. It will show you what rings they're in. You can visit their store directly. So it's a discovery mechanism for getting readers to your store as simply as possible. Let's go see if anybody has any questions or thoughts or anything like that. Fair night always, Monique says. Oh, and Monique sold, take my money. All right. Awesome. I'm glad, Tim. I'm glad that it makes sense to you, because of course Tim's one of my readers, so it's obviously one of the big, most important things is that readers understand this as well. So authors, when they use this system, let me go to that, what the sign up looks like. It's super simple. It's author.authorring.net. And authorring.net right now, if you just go to the main website, it's going to have right now the link may just take you to a sign-up form that you're interested. But if you go here, if you go to author.authorring.net, 2 R's in author ring, you can then sign up and get going with it. And it's pretty basic. You put your name, your email address, password, your store URL, and then like an about you, about your store, because that text is what shows, on the reader website in places like this, or if they, were to come across you and I want this. These ones are all kind of written as author bios is kind of how I did them, but they could be also like about your corpus, about your store, stuff like that. So that's in there. You mark off ebook, print, audiobook, and then on the next page, you pick the rings that you want to be in. And there's a fair number of them now. We're going to be adding more. Once authors are registered, I'm going to be rolling this out today. There'll be an option to suggest new rings, and eventually I'm even going to make it so we can actually have like a community suggestion, so you can see what other rings have been suggested and vote on them and stuff like that. Because we don't want to put out 70 rings that all have 2 authors in them. At the beginning, we might kind of like more broadly group people together, and then as we get more and more authors in the system, we can branch them out, because there are thousands of authors who do direct sales. So it should not be a problem as we get adoption going, to really build this up into something significant. So you can pick all sorts of different rings that you're in. Actually, okay, yeah, that is actually all correct. So the different rings, we actually have a whole bunch more that I need to make sure are going to show up on here, because they are all available for folks to get into. And I know why it's not showing them all. I haven't refreshed this screen since I added them. I had this sort of all preloaded. And then at the very end, once you've picked your rings, you just hit submit application, and it will then send you an email to validate your email address, just so we can make sure we're not loading the system up with spammers. And then once that's done, on the admin side, we'll actually see your that you've signed up and that you validated your email address. And then once that happens, we'll see the rings you've requested to join. We're then going to actually manually audit to make sure that people have requested to join rings that we think work well. And again, that's to keep the pollution problem like you see on the Amazon categories from being a thing. When readers are on a certain ring, we really want them to see books and sites that align with that ring. So you'll submit an application, you get a message saying you'll go validate your email address, and then everything proceeds apace from there. And then once you're logged in, you'll actually be able to see the rings that you're at, and they're $1 a month per ring. We are going to be throwing out some coupon codes. I didn't actually make it in time. Actually, I'm going to make it right now while we're doing this call. If you're in our school program, there is a coupon code that you can get in school already, and I'm going to make one right now for everyone else. So that there'll be, I'll do like 3 months free, which I think is pretty fair, because the system's not going to have huge value right away. So let's see, oops. You guys can't see this because I don't want to show you the admin UI. I mean, I could, but it's always just a good practice not to show too much of your admin UI, because what if there's like something in there that could be exploited? I don't think there is, but all right. Anyway, 3 months free, 3 months free. And it is a 100% discount for 3 months. I'm going to give it 500 redemptions. So once it gets redeemed 500 times, it'll be done. So the coupon code is just 3 months free. Number 3 months. Oh, I wrote it wrong. Delete this. I wrote 3 months fee, not 3 months free. Oh, that's hilarious. Hold, please. I didn't build the stuff to edit coupons yet because I'm like, how often am I going to need to edit a coupon? And then the very first thing I need to do is edit a coupon. 3 months free. There we go. Repeats for 3 months on 500 redemptions. Create code. All right. I'm actually really happy with this because like I'm like, yeah, we built like a good system here. This thing like really works. I can make coupon codes. All the transactions are handled through Stripe, so we're not holding anyone's credit cards. We're not. We never see that information at all. It's a subscription. You, as an author, have full control over that. So you can go to you can of course can cancel any ring at any time if you're like, you know what, I don't think I should be in the hard science fiction ring. I'm a poser. You can just say like, yes, cancel my membership in this ring. It will pull you out of that ring. And there was a little bit of text there, but basically you're going to get prorated that $1. You'll get however many cents are left of that $1 apply as a credit to your bill. So that's all built in, everything like that. Eventually it will not be $1 a ring. Once this is bigger, cost more to maintain, we're probably going to have to raise up to $3 or $5 a month per ring. Founding members will stay at $1 per ring though. So, and that's going to be something we'll be having going for a while for founding members. If you cancel a ring and you want to rejoin it, because we've already approved you for that ring, you just rejoin the ring, and it just lets you know that your monthly subscription is now $4 a month. And of course, if you're like, you know, Mallory, I hate you and I hate everything that you've done and I want out, you can always just go to the billing, go to manage subscription. That takes you to Stripe, who handles all the billing, and you can just, is it here? Oh wait, I think it's the other link I have to click. Is it manage subscription? Should be a link that says just cancel it on Stripe. I was clicking it before in my testing. I will have to find out why that's not there anymore. I will find out why that's not there anymore, because it should just let you, there should be a button in here to cancel the whole thing. And I'm perturbed it's not there anymore because it was in my testing. But either way, you don't have to cancel the whole subscription. You just cancel the individual rings and then you're not paying anyway. And there's even like a PDF invoice and stuff like that. And like I just encountered, where the cancel subscription button was gone on the Stripe side, which we don't actually control, so I'm not sure why it disappeared or not. There will be some bugs, but we're going to work them out. Later today, I'll be rolling out a contact form on this page. So if you have any bugs or anything like that, you have a contact form, and the option to suggest new rings will be coming out as well. But the main thing, like I've really done a lot of work on, is like testing the system, making sure that the code works and everything like that. Oh, and of course, the last thing too that I should mention is after you've been approved for rings, you'll get a code that you can put on your site. And then that site will actually be what loads the bar at the top of the website there. And there's like, basically you can be in multiple rings, but there's going to be like a primary ring, a default ring that loads just when people just type in your URL and go to your website. So by default, we just show the first one. That's what's flagged as primary. But you also can say like, you know what, actually, I want people to, when people just like randomly come to my website, I actually want them to see the colonization and exploration ring is the default. So you can just choose whatever you want your default to be. And then you can also even just change the theming between light and dark, and that will take effect right away as well. There we go. You can see that one switched to light. So yeah, that happens immediately. In fact, if we go to, this is always great too, right? Live demo tests of these sorts of things. Let's see what happens. This is my actual live website. And this is my actual live account. So if I reload this, okay, there might be actually some caching that hits for a little bit, but it will change to light. Unless, oh, like this is Space Opera. That's what the problem was. As a test before, I had put in the Space Opera as my default ring. All right. You see that says Space Opera there. So I was testing out using different rings as my default. Boom. Light mode, all set. So, we've got some, we'll probably add some more themes in there eventually, but we've got some ones to start the system. Like you can see the live website, it is actually all working. There are a couple of authors. I think only one who's actually put in all of her stuff on the actual live website. Like it's Deborah. Has actually filled her stuff in. She hasn't put the widget on her website yet, I don't think. I didn't double check. But you can see that like she does ebook, print, audiobook. Eventually we're going to make it so authors can just show me authors who direct sell audiobooks, show me authors who direct sell ebooks. We're going to have some more filtering in once we get more information. And then of course, clicking visit store takes you right to the store. So yeah, she does not have the widget in yet, but that's okay. Cause I think I just approved her like not that long ago. So there you have it. There's Author Ring. It's actually built and alive and up and running. Eric wants to, I buy that for $1. Is that because you actually want to buy it, or you're just rocking the meme? Okay, Dharma's already filled it. Well, you might have Dharma just filled out the interest form. Now, if you actually want to sign up on the site, you'll actually have to fill out the form. Like actually just sign up on the site. And yes, the downside to all the one ring jokes, though, Dharma, is that there's not one ring. There's a lot of rings. But yeah, there it is. I was like, just realized there's a weird line on my face, but I just realized that's actually just coming from Stripe. So, oh, I missed a link from Writing with Wolfprint Press. Yes, the join link. Let me just put it right in the chat for you guys. So it is right here, authorring.net/register. This is where you sign up. If you just go to the main AuthorRing website at present, so it's just authorring.net and hit join now, then you're just filling out the interest form. But there's like a cool email or video from Jill explaining things. But if that link I just put in chat will take you right there. And then this afternoon, we're going to be changing that main join now link to take people right to the actual main registration form. Because we're kind of we're soft rolling it a bit so that if any bugs come up, we don't have 1,000 people hitting the bugs. It'll just be like a couple and we can fix it quickly before it hits a lot of folks. Yeah, I'm super stoked, Amy. It's really exciting. It took, goodness, I want to say that it took 10 hours a day at least for 7 days to put this all together. It was not a quick and dirty thing, but it actually still went pretty fast. I'm pretty happy with how it worked out. And like the whole thing is like, the idea, there's no algorithms, there's no rules, there's no working the system to get better placement. There's no gatekeeping. It's just a list of authors, searchable, organically discoverable authors who do direct sales. And you don't have to be selling ebooks, right? Like you saw that. You could just have print editions. You could just have like a couple of your special edition print books up on your website and be in a ring. You don't have to like go fully direct. So you could just have like a WordPress website with a WooCommerce plugin and one page on your website where your books are. I would recommend that whatever page readers land on should either direct them, should have like books that they can just straight up buy on your website, or when you put in your website URL, you should put in like mysite.com/shop to take them right to the store page. I think it would be better if readers if readers had that experience versus sort of just landing on a front page of a website where maybe all the links go to Amazon or something like that, because that's going to set a bad reader experience. Along those lines, so for example, my shop, Author Direct eBooks here, is not like the most appealing page to land on initially. It makes sense if you land on my homepage, and you see the banners and all that sort of thing, and then you navigate. here, then you're like, okay, I have context. I need to make it so I have like a top level featured book or something like that, just to make this page look a little bit nicer, because this is where I want people to land. So that they're going to land right on AOM14/buy ebooks direct. Eventually, when I put print books back up on my website, I might actually make a different landing page to land on. But I think like thinking about the reader experience, if someone just goes to the ring and lands on your site, where should they land? And so that is the URL that you'll put in here. So like could be like shop or something like that. Or if you're like, you're on Shopify and that in your site is like could be like shop.mysite.com. So I really feel like whatever you put in here should be where you want people to land, that should like have have books for sale on your website. Should be a page that has some direct books for sale. So you could send them to your front page of your website, so long as something that's sort of like in view when they first launch is like buy books direct, or something like that would be what I think we should do. Obviously, this is going to we're going to mature this idea as we go along, and whatnot. But like I said, I'm super stoked. Tell your friends, tell your friends' friends, tell your dog to tell their friends. This is how, to my mind, this is how we finally break the back of a system that always forces us to go through them. There's always a retailer, there's always a distributor, there's always an app that you have to get onto, and then you've got to work the system on that app to get better placement. The whole goal here is that it's naturally natively discoverable, and we're not relying on anyone else. There's not going to be an algorithm suggesting to people what we think they should be reading the most and stuff like that. And then as we build this out, the reader website is going to mature and have different things. We might even eventually start doing like a newsletter, so people can sign up on the reader site and get a newsletter of direct sales books that are coming out, or deals that authors are offering. Once we start to hit like this critical mass and get a lot more momentum, we get a lot of opportunity to do things. And we could possibly even add like comics, because I know Eric does comics, and a lot of other authors are doing comics along with their Kickstarters. So a lot of things that we could be doing. And we are even talking with some of the smaller operators, like who have sites that are like they're more book focused, so like not Shopify or Square, but like smaller ones that are more book focused, about making it so even they can have our widget to show that, to help drive people both to sites on theirs and to make them part of this bigger community as well. So I love it. Thank you that you signed up, Dharma. That's awesome, Dennis. Yeah, like whatever's working, right? You don't always need a super fancy website, so we're happy to have you on the author ring. And I don't know, I really, you always kind of like hope when you're building something that it could be like a big thing and be like legit. And I hope that this is, but I really think this will be too, because like I said, even if you're a KU author, all of us sell books ourselves, right? We all sell print, we all sell special editions. We might have our own audiobooks that maybe we paid for straight up, that we don't have that aren't exclusive to ACX. I think every author can ultimately be a part of this. And then for authors who want to, like, down the road, who want to leave KU and take control of their own destiny, this is going to help. Get on Author Ring, get listed on the reader website. It's free discoverability. And if we make this reader website sort of like the de facto place to go to find direct sales authors, then it's going to replace the retailers eventually. And I think it'd be a great thing too. Like once we get a little more popular too, for authors to mention in their newsletter, like, hey, you guys always ask me like, how can I buy books not on Amazon? Boom, here you go. That's how you can buy books not on Amazon. So I think we've got like a really big thing coming along. So I think I missed, Jill, that I wanted to talk about. I think I've covered it all. So yeah, I think I'm just stoked, and I've got more work to do. I was actually like frantically coding right before it was time to do this call, getting the ring suggestion system all built up, and the contact form and everything like that, which I should have done before, but then I forgot in the last minute. It's like, oh, people might not know us personally, so they might need a contact form. But it's cruising along, and I'm totally in the zone with this. So I'm more than stoked. Now I got to see. Hey, look at that. Dharma did sign up. I see you in the system, Dharma. It's like I'm doing Reading Rainbow. I see you, Dharma. Oh, Jill has private questions for me. Okay. Sounds kind of scary almost, doesn't it? So yeah, I think that's all I got to talk about today. Actually, there is one other thing for those of you doing Facebook ads. Facebook changed something at the end of last week. And I've seen a number of ads that have lost performance by about 25%. It's sort of like, you can see it a lot of times when we look at the metrics, even on the Facebook side. You'll see like I look at a bunch of accounts, I see there's this weird jump in CPM, cost per thousand impressions, and then suddenly everybody's like cost per click sort of starts to change. It seems to be actually kind of self-correcting, but that does I don't know if it's just going haywire and not self-correcting. It's going to go crazy for a bit. But they made some sort of big change that's caused audiences to shift. So if you have ads that like over the last week or so, you're like, these things were doing great and they're not doing great anymore, it's probably this. Usually when something like this happens, you have two options: just wait and see if things self-correct and the audience is relearn for your ads, or you have to rebuild the ads from scratch, is generally what you have to do. Of note, some accounts I'm like, there's ads been like kind of like meh, and now they're doing great. It's kind of funny, like when they make an audience shift behind the scenes to how the system builds audiences and finds readers. Some ads benefit and some ads take a hit from that. So that's something that did happen. I'm actually also pardon me. I also am working on for myself a new dashboard for me that's going to help me spot major trends that are happening on the Facebook ecosystem. And maybe once I get that like really vetted and tested, it might allow me to like expose some information to anybody else, saying like, hey, on this particular day, here's the graph across like 100 Facebook ad accounts. What happened? Cost per click suddenly dropped on average by 20%, or increased by 20% across 100 Facebook ad accounts, or something like that. So I'm actually pretty stoked too, because I want like this project, I want to help like the collective knowledge of all of us, the collective experience of all of us helps all of us, so the more we can learn from that, the less we're siloed and having to do everything ourselves and having to like do all the learning ourselves and decision making ourselves, the better it is for all of us, right? Yeah, that's been a thing that's been happening too, Dennis. And if that is going on, what probably means is that Facebook's having a hard time finding your audience for some reason. It's also like the world is not super stable and consistent right now. So it's like, is it because no one's buying books because gasoline is $10 a gallon in LA right now? I don't know. Are people afraid of having their country invaded, so they're spending less? I'm not sure how much of a factor that really is. So it makes a lot of determinations a little bit harder. I want to live in boring times. Is that would make life a lot easier, but for now it is a little bit volatile. But I'm working on finding ways to pinpoint changes faster and surface them to people faster. Rebecca Hefner had a buy direct thing going, but didn't move the needle for me. Yeah, it's going to take some critical mass, in the system, before people start to see a change from it. But I really do feel like the fact that like, we're going to have the ring at the top of people's websites. It doesn't initially require readers to go somewhere new. Eventually, they will, right? They can be like, "Ooh, shiny, what's this?" But initially, it's going to sort of happen in line as they're just doing their regular browsing. That's the hope. That's the hope. And then once we get enough authors, then the reader site can sort of get its own zeitgeist. Am I saying that word right? And start to propel things. But I'm also, my plan too is once we get a lot more authors on here and we ramp up the price, we're going to start advertising the reader site as well. So we're going to be putting the money back into that. We'll pay the costs on the system, and then we'll put money back into the advertising, so that so we can continue to build up the reader site, get people familiar, maybe even just do awareness ads. Just say like, hey, have you seen Author Ring? If you spot this at the top of a direct sales website, you can now do XYZ. No one author does direct sales, but isn't part of Author Ring. Let them know about this. Like, I want to do a bunch of stuff to really try and like really make this a thing. So buy my book, something to read in the bomb shelter, right? Get them now before the bombs drop and ebooks are no longer accessible. You're probably right. I think I use zeitgeist wrong. I think it's like the moment has zeitgeist. The site does not have zeitgeist. Anyway, that's what I got. So thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. It's been a crazy, wild, like last I guess it's been 9 days now since I started building this in earnest. It's been pretty cool, and I'm really excited about it. Actually, to give you guys a little idea too of something else I've been working on, because I'm back into coding. I've got the software bug going again. I'm building a thing called the Lore Oracle. Um, that allows, actually, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. Hopefully I didn't break it because I was doing a bunch of dev on it this morning. But you guys are going to get to see a sneak peek of this. Lore.aeon14.com loads this little website. And I can then say to the website, I can be like, tell me about the Battle of Victoria. Actually, I'll say something more simple because that might take a bit, because it'll actually write like a full synopsis of this battle. Was there a ship named the Steel Dawn? I'll just ask it that. It's a little bit. Oh, I need to actually share my screen. I turned that off. Add to stage. There we go. To make that embiggered. It's a little bit slow right now, and actually we'll have to see if it works, because I was just like, I'm doing some coding. Oh, boo, sad backend error. Well, next week you guys will actually get to see this thing actually really cooking, because it can actually provide like detailed responses about books that are in the system. I'm using this thing called Anything LLM in the middle, and I was just doing some dev work on it earlier this morning. So I kind of borked it. But yeah, the idea is going to be that it's something that that I'm going to open up to authors. It will cost a little bit. It'll cost more than $1 a month, obviously, for this, because it's actually this actually requires me to have like some serious AI power going on. So you load up your books into the system. It breaks them down into 500-word chunks, and then the system then, there's a registrar that it builds where it goes through all of your books, and it finds like people, places, important names, important events, and stuff like that, maps them to the books that they're in. And then when people make a query, it runs to the registrar, finds out which books the events are in. Then it loads up chunks from the books, 500-word chunks, as many as 20 of them, and then sends them off to the back end AI that then does the analysis and then writes up the response. Cool thing about this, all open source AIs. I'm not using big corporate AIs. Your data never is held by any corporation other than us. No one else has your book other than us. Actually, we don't even store the book. It gets chunked up into a vector object, so it's not like we can even read it or anything like that. And it never leaves our premises. I'm actually building up a couple of rather powerful AI servers that can run really big models and handle a lot of requests. And it's also all using the OpenAI API, so you could plug it into OpenRouter. And actually then, like, if you're using OpenRouter to work with AIs, you like for whatever purposes you might be doing for plotting or just for like doing research or something like that, you could actually just in your regular chat window that you use on something like OpenRouter, actually like query this system, be like, hey, I can't remember, did Sally meet Harry on the beach, or did Sally meet Harry in the bar? And then the AI will go off and figure it out and find you the answer. Or you could be like, did Sally know this when this other thing happened? Did she have this piece of knowledge at that point in the timeline? That sort of thing can actually be pulled out of it as well. And then you can also expose a cool little thing like I just showed you, where your readers could also reach into the system as well. This one's got a little ways longer to go. Obviously, it's got a lot of moving parts. It involves like multiple servers and different services doing different things. All ones I'm building and hosting myself, or using open source tools to host. So none of it is being held by corporations. I think that's actually kind of a cool thing too, because I know there's a lot of authors out there who would like to leverage perhaps some of the power of AI to do certain things, like help me write a blurb, or all sorts of different things about your books, but you don't want to, be giving your books over to Anthropic or Google or OpenAI. So this might be an option as well. And for a lot of people too, you don't have a powerful enough computer to run an AI locally as well. So this can be a thing that people will be able to use as well. So that'll be coming down the pike. I might be doing some more betas of it, opening it up. It's pretty wild, because the graphics cards, they're AI runs on graphics cards. The funny thing is they just don't actually have any spot for a monitor plugin, because they're just used for AI. The ones that I'm using I'm going to need at least 5 of them to start, were $7,000 a pop back in 2019, but I can now get them out of China. for about $300 a pop. But sometimes like finding a reputable seller and getting it shipped in a timely fashion is painful. So right now I'm like waiting on a bunch of them before I can also really start to open this up. Um, but it's gonna be pretty sweet. All right, let me get back to. Oh, that's awesome! Thank you very much for writing with Wolfprint Press. And Amy, oh yeah, you said you like something for your site you built on Ghost. Yeah, like that's my thought too. Like author, just plug this into your websites. You could make it part of like a membership thing, or there's like Patreon access or something like that, so that your patrons could access this sort of thing. Like it could be part of like a special offering that you make for your your hardcore fans. Um, the rules when you show someone something new you've created breaks. I know I did software development for long enough to know about demoitis because the company I worked at, we had a demo day every 2 weeks where you had to demo to the entire company what you or your team built. And yeah, the number of things that would break spectacularly right during the demo were always good. Or going to like client meetings. Oh my God, that was always terrifying, right? Because like that's when it like 1,000 people could use this thing, but the moment you show it to a new prospective client, that's when it breaks. All right, we'll see you later, Tim. Yeah, the lore project is going to be pretty awesome. But I'm not replacing you, Tim. You're still going to be like the definitive source of truth. All right, Amy, I'll definitely keep you in mind. And as I get closer to having other authors that I open this up to, I'll be announcing it here as well. So you'll be folks on Lunch with Mal will hear about it first. So what else might there's one of no, you know what? No, you guys will get to know the other cool things I'm working on right now. But there's some pretty cool software stuff coming down the pike. I am also Solaris during this past year where we had to I had major surgery and then we moved to Eastern Canada and then we moved to Western Canada. Some stuff broke on Solaris that is causing it to not work at all right now. So that's also on my list of things to fix. And I actually I have some new tools that I'm working on that will help authors analyze their ads better. And I'm actually going to make that work with Solaris. Solaris is a tool to calculate read through. And even give like your trending, it'll even give like month over month read through graphs. So you can see how your read through trends. Like maybe you're running like a lot of hard advertising and you're like, man, this isn't working as well as I thought. And you see that you look, oh, my read through is starting to go down because maybe you're hitting cold audiences or hitting not ideal audiences or something like that. So I plan on getting Solaris working again. And some of these new tools that we're building will be able to plug into Solaris and pull your data out of Solaris, your read through data out of Solaris to do better with. And then eventually I might even make it so Solaris can even live update your read through data rather than you having to punch things in. But for a little while I was thinking do I even want to get Solaris working again, because so many other tools have read through now, but there's some stuff I'm doing that I think actually will make it worth it to still have my own, to build and maintain my own tool for calculating read through. So lots of cool software things coming, and I'm writing a lot of books again too. It's a brave new world. I think I'm finally out of my post-COVID burnout that happened, which is super exciting. I like Western Canada too, Penumbria. We're out in the prairies, and I've missed the prairies, but now I also miss the forest. So I'm going to have to make frequent trips to places with forests to keep the forest quotient in my blood. I am also unhappy with the fact that we are now on 6th winter this year. It was it's been so nice. We keep having days like in Fahrenheit, they're getting up into the mid 70s, and then it will snow and be 0 Fahrenheit the next day. Yesterday was a bit chilly. Day before was super nice. We're sitting outside using the grill, and theoretically tomorrow is going to be 50 again. So it's and we're gonna have a bunch of snow on the ground that will melt. So yay. Oh, I am too, Amy. And I was able to do a lot of things well, like administrative work, like managing people's ads, that sort of thing. That's easy to do because I don't have to think creatively about the next step. But man, writing software or writing books, it takes a different part of your brain. And that part of my brain was just fried after getting COVID 5 times, possibly only 4 times. I'm not sure about one of them. So yeah, it's nice to feel invigorated and on fire and making stuff again. So I'm pretty stoked. Oh, the 80s. How dare you? That's down in Austin-ish, right? Oh, you're in Colorado. For some reason, I thought you were down in Austin. Yeah, I hopefully you guys do all right in Colorado this year with the distinct lack of snow that fell on the mountains. I know that's a concern for a lot of folks out there. But anyway, I'm going to jet. I have a bug to squash. Well, it's just for me on the lore oracle. It's actually got funny names for those of you who are curious. The thing in the background that breaks people's books up into like 500 word things is called the Chunkinator. The front end UI that like you might show to readers is called the Lorinator. And then the system where as an author you would go in and load in all of your books and get them all configured and everything is called the Lore Master. And together I'm calling the whole thing the Lore Oracle. It's being a blast. I'm having a ton of fun doing it. It's great. And in the back end for me, it's like literally just for me. When the Chunkinator fires up, there's this cool graphic that says Chunkinator and everything. I'm a huge nerd. I can't help it. I'm sorry. But yes, I shall have a blessed day. And it was really nice to see you too, Penumbra, and everybody else as well. Like again, I'm super stoked about Author Ring. Check it. If you're interested, if you do any sort of direct sales, sign up at the website. Again, there is a coupon code. If you're in our school system, our program there, then you have access to a coupon code there. But if you are not in school, you can still sign up for Author Ring, and there's a coupon code, 3 months free. You aren't asked the coupon code until after we approve your Ring membership and you get the email to pay. When you go through that process, it'll take you to Stripe for the checkout, which Stripe's like the biggest payment processor out there. So we let them do the thing. You go check out through Stripe, there'll be a coupon code spot on the left to put in that coupon code, 3 months free. And then you will get the first 3 months for free. And then after that's only $1 a month per ring if you get in early when we have the founding member thing going on. Like I said, eventually, as this gets bigger and costs more to run, we'll have to charge more money, but founding members will be staying at $1 a month for however many rings you want to be in. For each ring, $1 a month per ring. So I look forward to making this the thing. This is the thing that's going to break the backs of the retailers, right? That's going to make it so people can leave KU, can get paid properly for their books. We can have direct access to our own readers and be in control of our own destiny and not constantly have to be going through some other system, satisfying some other, API, some other algorithm to get visibility. It's all organic. There's no gatekeeping. I guess there's a little bit of gatekeeping because if you write Westerns, I'm not letting you go into sci-fi unless they're sci-fi Westerns, then you can come into sci-fi. Like we're going to make sure the categories stay clean, but otherwise, it's going to be just, we want authors to show up, have their books, get their books directly in front of readers and sell direct. So I will see you guys all next week. Maybe I'll have the Lore Oracle working and not throwing an error so you guys can check it out. I think you'll be really stoked about how it works. All right. Ciao.